Mickey Rivers leading off and playing center field. Batting second for the Yankees and playing left will be Roy White. Thurman Munson will catch and bat third. Batting fourth and playing right field for the Yankees, Reggie Jackson. Chris Chambliss will be at first base tonight. He'll bat fifth. Greg Nettles at third base will bat sixth. Nettles will be followed in the Yankee lineup by Lou Piniella, and Piniella will be the designated hitter. Willie Randolph will be at second base, and he'll bat eighth. He'll be followed in the lineup by Bucky Dent. Dent will play shortstop and bat ninth for the Yankees. And on the mound, pitching now in the bullpen, I guess it's a controversial bullpen, down the right field line, is Don Gullett. Gullett has won 12 ball games and lost 4 so far this year. And against the Blue Jays, he has won 1 and he's lost 1. The bullpens here at Exhibition Park, they resulted in a forfeiture here by Earl Weaver and the Baltimore Orioles. Weaver wanted the bullpen area uncovered, and the umpires didn't feel they had to do that. So the ball game was forfeited when Weaver took his team off the field after 4.5 innings of play. Of course, Baltimore was losing 4-0 anyway to the Blue Jays. For the Blue Jays, Gary Woods will lead off and play center field. Bob Baylor will be in left field. He'll bat second. Batting third will be Roy Howell. He'll play third base. A former Yankee, Otto Velez, will be the designated hitter, and Velez will bat fourth. Doug Alt will play first base and bat fifth for the Jays. Batting sixth and playing right field, Steve Bowling. Rick Cerrone, kid from Seton Hall University, will catch and bat seventh. Batting eighth and playing second base for the Blue Jays, Dave McKay. Tim Nordbrook will be the shortstop. He'll bat ninth. And on the mound for the Blue Jays, right-hander Jesse Jefferson. Jefferson has won 9 games this year. He's lost 16. And against the Yankees, he's won 1 and he has lost none. I'd like to remind you, we had told you that the Yankees were accepting mail orders for tickets. Well, they're going to accept no more. They've announced today that they are no longer accepting mail orders for tickets to the American League playoffs. Box and reserve seats will still go on sale tomorrow morning at Yankee Stadium beginning at 9 o'clock. Now, box seats are $9, and you've got to buy 2, so that's $18 per set of 2. Reserve seats, $7, $14 per set. Tickets must be purchased in sets, that's sets of 2, and there's a limit of 4 per customer. So tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock at Yankee Stadium, tickets will go on sale for the American League Championship Series. No more mail orders, please. Tomorrow here at Exhibition Park, Ron Guidry will have the baseball for the Yankees and Jerry Garvin for the Toronto Blue Jays. The game will start at 2:15. Of course, Frank Messer will be on the air with his pregame show about 2:05. Then on Sunday, the game will start here at 1:30. Ed Figueroa against Jim Clancy. The Yankees, after tonight, will have 9 games left. 2 more here in Toronto and 7 at home. They'll be back home on Monday night to start a 4-game series against the Cleveland Indians. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights against the Indians. And, of course, that Thursday night game is a makeup, so it does not appear on your schedule. Then the Detroit Tigers come in to finish up the season at Yankee Stadium. And the Yankees want to thank all their friends who have supported this team this season. Next Saturday, October 1st, every fan who comes to see the Yankees and the Tigers will get a great thermal mug with a picture of the 1977 Yankees on it and containing samples of Baby Ruth. That ball game will start at 2 o'clock against the Detroit Tigers. Oh, Jesse Jefferson, the big right-hander's face warming up, and stepping in for the Yankees is Mickey Rivers. This ball game is just about ready to get underway. Rivers batting .323 this year, 11 home runs and 67 runs batted in. And here's the first pitch of the ball game, and it's fouled back to the screen. It'll be Rivers, White, and then Thurman Munson against Jesse Jefferson. Roy Howell is the third baseman for the Blue Jays. He's in close there. The shortstop is Tim Nordbrook. Dave McKay playing at second, and Doug Alt shortened up at first base. Out of left field is Bob Baylor. Gary Woods is the center fielder. Steve Bowling, the right fielder. Chopped slowly toward first. Alt has an underhand toss and dropped by the pitcher, Jesse Jefferson. And we'll wait and see what the score says. A slow bouncer to Doug Alt, the first baseman. He got the ball, tossed it underhanded to Jesse Jefferson covering. Jefferson could not handle the ball, and Rivers is given a base hit. So the Yankees get the first man on. That'll bring on Roy White, the Yankee left fielder. Now White wants Al Clark, the home plate umpire, to check that baseball, and Jefferson throws it to him underhanded. Well, Clark handled that one better than Jefferson handled his. Rivers on at first, nobody out. Here's White. Roy in left-handed, batting at .275, 14 home runs and 50 runs batted in. Well, these fans here still coming in. This team expects to draw close to 1,700,000 as White takes low, ball one.
Starting on the game was 7:36. The temperature this evening was 14 degrees Celsius.
Now the set by Jefferson. He checks Rivers. Pitch to White. On the outside corner, called strike. It's 1-1. As of now, the Yankees have a game and a half lead over Baltimore and one game more to play than the Orioles. They have a 3-game lead over the third-place Boston Red Sox. As Jefferson sets. Throws to first base, and Rivers is back easily. The Yankees have won 93, lost 59. Baltimore 92 and 61. Boston 90 and 62. Tough loss for the Red Sox yesterday in Detroit. Now the set by Jefferson. Throws to first base again, and Rivers is back. So the Yankees right now have a 2-game lead on the loss side over Baltimore, and they're 3 games up over Boston on the loss side. When it gets down this low, that loss side is very important. White takes low again. 2 balls and a strike. Rivers on at first base, nobody out playing the top of the first from Toronto, Canada. First of 3 between the Yankees and the Toronto Blue Jays. Now Jefferson sets again. Pitches to White. Swung on and fouled back and out of play. 2-2. Jefferson now with a new ball. Dick Hauser coaching third for the Yankees. Bobby Cox coaching at first. Pitch to White. Low, ball 3. 3-2. So the count is full, and Rivers will probably be running on the pitch. On deck is Thurman Munson. Jefferson sets. Throw to first base, and Rivers is back. Jefferson with the Baltimore Orioles, Chicago White Sox at the belt. There goes Rivers. The pitch is swung on and fouled off by White. Well, the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes, and Rivers does the U-turn. He'll go back to first base. So far, the Red Sox have benefited the most from games involving the Blue Jays. That's the Blue Jays, Toronto, the Blue Jays, Red Sox, the Blue Jays, Yankees. The Red Sox have won 9 of 11 games against the Blue Jays. So they've picked up 3.5 games on the Yankees by their wins over the Blue Jays. Well, the first, and Rivers is back. Baltimore's picked up 2.5 games by beating the Blue Jays 10 of 15. The Yankees the only team among the big 3 having trouble against the Blue Jays. 6 and 6. 3-2 pitch. Rivers going, fouled back under. It's not a play. Still 3-2. Once again, Rivers has to go back to first base. And Jefferson wants another baseball and gets it. Now Jefferson sets. Checks Rivers, the pitch. Swung on and popped up right side of the infield. Dave McKay, the second baseman, calling. He's under it, and he's got it. And Rivers goes back to first base, and there's one away. That'll bring on Thurman Munson, the Yankee catcher and captain. Munson batting at .294 on the year, 17 home runs and 93 runs batted in for the Yankees. Thurman, right-handed batter. The outfield will swing around toward left corner. Munson has hit in 4 straight ball games with 2 home runs, 4 runs, and 4 runs batted in over those 4 straight games. He's also hit in 7 of his last 8. Pitch to him. Curveball outside, ball 1. Rivers was still bothered by that sore ankle. He got it at the Yankee Stadium last time Louis Peon tried to pick him off at first base. So he has not run that much. Pitch to Munson. Swung on and fouled off right side. Out of play. The ball and the strike. On deck is Reggie Jackson. One out, one on in the top of the first, just underway. No score, Yankees and the Blue Jays. As Jefferson's at the bell again. Throws the first, and Rivers is back. Now Jefferson bends forward, gets his side, straightens up. 1-1 pitch, fouled off again, back and out of play. 1-2 on Munson. 330 feet down the left field line here at Exhibition Park. 400 feet straight away center and 330 feet down the right field line. And the power alleys, left center, right center, 375 feet. This is the ballpark that Cliff Johnson hit his 3 home runs in one ball game. We're right here at Exhibition Park. 1-2 to Munson. Hit on the ground. Back up the middle, base hit. Rivers digging around second. He'll go on to third. And Wood will throw behind him in the second base. So Munson singles up the middle, sending Rivers to third. And the Yankees out runners at first and third, only one away. And the batter's Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson batting at .285 this year. 30 home runs and 100 runs batted in. Larry Heisel of the Minnesota Twins leads the American League in RBIs with 113. Bobby Bonds of the Angels has 111. Jim Rice of the Red Sox, 105. And Jason Thompson of the Tigers, 103. Jackson fouls the first pitch back. Al Cowards of Kansas City, 101, along with Butch Hobson of the Red Sox. Then Reggie Jackson, 7th on the list. And even 100, Greg Nettles of the Yankees, 8th. He has 97. So Jackson, Munson, Chambliss, and Nettles all doing a job driving in runs for the Yankees. Runners lead off first and third with one away. Here's a one-strike pitch to Jackson, and it's high, 1-1. Reggie has won 18 ball games this year for the Yankees. Blue Jays back looking for 2, except for all. He has to hold Munson there at first base as Jefferson sets. 1-1 pitch. Curveball, line, base hit. It'll go into the corner down the right field line. Rivers scores. Munson digging to third. They're going to wave him in. And the hook that Munson falls down, he'll have to hold at third base. Well, everything was in favor of the Yankees there. The right fielder, Bowling, had a tough time getting that ball out of the corner. Munson was digging around third. And he got about 3/4 of the way and fell down, so he had to go back. Jackson pulls up at second base with a double, and the Yankees lead 1-0. Jackson now has 101 runs batted in. And that'll bring on Chris Chambliss. Chambliss batting .290, 17 home runs, 88 runs batted in. Infield back for the Blue Jays. Pitch to Chambliss, drill to center field. Gary Woods over in left center waiting. Munson tagging. Ball is caught in deep left center. Munson tags, comes on in, and the Yankees lead 2-0. So give Chambliss a sacrifice fly and a run batted in. He now has 89 runs batted in. That'll bring on Greg Nettles. A little tough to go through that lineup and not give up some runs. Munson batting close to 300 with 93 runs batted in. Jackson batting .285 with 101 runs batted in. Now Chambliss batting at .290 with 89 runs batted in. Nettles batting at .242 with 35 home runs, 97 runs batted in. Nettles in left-handed. They play him straight away. Jefferson deals. Fastball is misses outside, ball 1. Oh, when Rivers gets on base, the Yankees seem to score a lot of runs. Rivers setting the table. Munson, Jackson, Chambliss driving him in. Fastball is inside on Nettles. 2 balls, no strikes. Nothing Yankees, top of the first. 2-0 pitch. Too high, ball 3. On deck is Lou Piniella. Yankees putting a lot of pressure on the Blue Jays in the top of the first. 3-0 pitch, swung on, hit deep to center, but right there is Gary Woods, the center fielder, waiting, makes the catch, and the side is retired. The Yankees pick up 2 runs on 3 base hits and leave 1 runner stranded. At the end of 1/2 inning of play, the Yankees 2, the Blue Jays nothing.
In the American League on Thursday, Baltimore 7, Toronto 1, Detroit 5, Boston 4, Chicago 5, Seattle 4, and Texas 6, California nothing. In the East, New York leading Baltimore by a game and a half, Boston 3 back. Detroit trails by 21.5, Cleveland by 26, Milwaukee 30 back, and Toronto by 41. In the West, Kansas City has clinched at least a tie for the championship. Kansas City leading Texas by 10.5 games. Chicago is 11.5 back. Minnesota trails by 16.5. California 24 back. Oakland by 36, and Seattle by 38. In the National League Thursday, San Diego 3, Cincinnati 1, Chicago 5, Philadelphia 3, Montreal 2, St. Louis nothing, Atlanta 8, Houston 4. In the East, Philadelphia leads Pittsburgh by 6.5 games. The magic number for the Phils, 4 games. Chicago trails by 14.5. St. Louis is 15.5 back. Montreal trails by 23, and New York by 34.5. In the West, Los Angeles has already clinched. Los Angeles leading Cincinnati by 11 games. Houston is 16 back. San Francisco trails by 22.5 games. San Diego is 27 out, and Atlanta is last in the West, trailing by 33.5 games.
Well, the Yankees have a 2-0 lead as we go to the bottom half of the first inning here at Exhibition Park in Toronto, Canada, and Don Gullett is out warming up. Gullett on the year has won 12 ball games, lost 4, and against the Blue Jays, he's won 1 and lost 1. That's his lifetime record against the Jays. Gullett's making his 21st start of the year. Pitched a week ago tonight, beat the Tigers 5-4 in Detroit, went all the way, walked 1, struck out 5. So Gullett now will pitch to Gary Woods, leading off for the Blue Jays in the bottom half of the first inning. Woods bats right-handed, 222 hitter, no home runs, 16 runs batted in. And he spins away from a fastball up and in, ball 1. It'll be Gary Woods, Bob Baylor, then Roy Howell for the Blue Jays. Gullett winds. The 1-0 pitch. Popped up right side. That'll be out of play. Munson has no chance. Back in the stands. Hits the ball in the strike. This program, by the way, is authorized by the New York Yankee Baseball Club under rights purchased by Manchester Broadcasting Productions, solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any broadcast, rebroadcast, or other use of this game without the express written consent of the Yankees and Manchester Broadcasting is prohibited. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Woods. Outside, 2 balls and a strike. Gullett looking at Munson, gets the sign, rocks 2-1 pitch. Fastball hit foul down the right side. Chambliss over there near the stands and reaches in and catches the ball. Barry Munson reaching over the tarpaulin and into the seats, came out with the ball. And Chambliss, reaching over that tarp and into the seats, came out with the ball. And the fans here gives Chambliss a good hand. That wind blowing from right toward left brought that ball back. And Chambliss reached in and made a good catch. 1 away. That'll bring on Bob Baylor, the left fielder. Baylor having a good year for the Toronto Blue Jays. He's batting .311 with 5 home runs and 31 runs batted in. Blue Jays pushing Baylor for Rookie of the Year, and he takes up and in, ball 1. The next pitch to him, fouled back and out of play. It's 1-1. Baylor playing with a strained knee. Fellow's been in the American League's top 10 since May 9th. Gullett now with a new baseball. Winds, deals a 1-1 pitch and is fouled back by Baylor. Ball and 2 strikes. The Yankees have a 2-0 lead, playing the bottom half of the first inning. 1 out and nobody on for the Toronto Blue Jays. First of 3 playing here in Toronto. Tomorrow afternoon and Sunday afternoon, and the Yankees will be back home on Monday night against the Cleveland Indians. 1-2 pitch to Baylor. Hit foul down the right side. Might come back for Chambliss. He's over near the Yankee dugout and reaches in and makes the catch. Chris Chambliss on top of the Yankee dugout. That time snatched the ball off. And they're 2 out. So 2 good plays by Chambliss. As that wind continues to blow that ball back where he can catch it. Oh, 2 up, 2 down. That'll bring on Roy Howell, the third baseman. Howell had a great day against the Yankees last time in Yankee Stadium. Got 5 base hits, a double, 1 single, 2 doubles, 2 home runs. Drove in 9 runs in 1 ball game. He takes the curveball outside, ball 1. Now they're moving Rivers over a little bit towards left center field for Howell. Gullett's 1-0 pitch. Too high, 2 balls, no strikes. On deck is Otto Velez. Gullett winds. Here's a 2-0 pitch to Howell. Too high, ball 3, 3-0. Now Howell backs out, takes a look down at his third base coach, Jackie Moore. Gullett. Rocks. 3-0 pitch. Called strike on the outside corner, 3-1. Now Howell backs out again. Now he settles back in. Here's the wind by Gullett and the 3-1 delivery. Swung on and missed. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Nettles playing wide at third. Dent's the shortstop. Randolph playing second. Chambliss at first. White, Rivers, and Jackson in the outfield. Munson now flashing signs for Don Gullett. And the payoff pitch. Called strike 3. Roy Howell caught looking at a fastball. It got the outside corner. 3 up, 3 down for the Blue Jays. And at the end of 1, the Yankees 2, the Blue Jays nothing.
Dave Parker of Pittsburgh, the top batter in the National League with a .341 average. Stennett of Pittsburgh at .336. Simmons of St. Louis is hitting .324. Foster of Cincinnati and Griffey of Cincinnati are both hitting .321. Templeton of St. Louis at .320. Smith of Los Angeles is hitting .311. Hendrick of San Diego at .310. And Rose of Cincinnati and Luzinski of Philadelphia both hitting .305. In the American League, Carew of Minnesota hitting .385, the top hitter in the major leagues. Bostic of Minnesota hitting .333, as is Kenny Singleton of Baltimore. Rod LaFleur of Detroit hitting .325. Rivers of New York is hitting .323. Rice of Boston at .319. Brett of Kansas City at .315. Page of Oakland is hitting .313. Baylor of Toronto at .311. Fisk of Boston and Bunbury of Baltimore both hitting .310. As far as the batters with 200 or more hits on the season, Carew, the leader there with 225, LaFleur of Detroit in the American League with 201, and Parker of Pittsburgh with 209. Other players with a shot at it, Pete Rose of Cincinnati with 191 in the National League, Rice of Boston with 194 base hits in the American League. Those are the only hitters with a pretty good shot at hitting at least 200 hits in the 1977 season.
Let's take 15 seconds for station identification on the New York Yankee Home of Champions Radio Network.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
You're listening to SCN Radio in the Canal Zone.
Now Lou Piniella will lead off against Jesse Jefferson, playing the top of the second here at Exhibition Park in Toronto. The Yankees lead 2-0. And Piniella takes the strike. Lou's batting .334 for the Yankees with 11 home runs and 43 runs batted in. On deck is Willie Randolph. Jefferson's next pitch, low curve, bounce to Howell at third, bobbles it but picks it up. Throws on the first base and got Piniella. There's one away. Howell bobbled that ball, but it bounced right back to him, and he threw Piniella out at first base. Willie Randolph is the batter. Willie batting .281 this year with 4 home runs and 40 runs batted in. First pitch to Willie Randolph. Skied into a shallow left center, going back to shortstop Baylor. Now coming on the center fielder Wood. And Wood makes the catch. 2 out. Actually, Baylor's playing left. Nordbrook is playing shortstop. When Baylor's knee gets a little better, he might move back in and play short. Here's Bucky Dent, the Yankee shortstop. At the end of 1 in Cleveland. Baltimore nothing, Cleveland nothing. Too high to Bucky Dent, ball 1. Rudy May scheduled the pitch for the Orioles in that ball game. Rick waits for Cleveland. Dent bounces 1 to second. Starts by McKay. Throws on the first base, and the side is retired. An easy inning for Jesse Jefferson. 3 up and 3 down. And at the end of 1 1/2, the Yankees 2, the Blue Jays nothing.
In afternoon baseball action in the National League, Ed Ott's two-out, two-run homer in the 8th inning broke up a scoreless game and led the Pittsburgh Pirates to a 2-0 victory over the Chicago Cubs. Ott's homer, his 7th, scored Al Oliver, who was safe on a fielder's choice, and came off loser Willie Hernandez. The runs were unearned because of third baseman Steve Ontiveros' error on Bill Robinson's grounder. Mike Kukrow pitched the first 7 innings for Chicago and allowed 5 hits. There was a 45-minute rain delay in the top of the 7th inning, but that didn't seem to affect things too much, at least as far as the Pirates are concerned. Winning pitcher Jim Rooker, 13-9, also won 7 innings, permitting 4 hits. The Cubs threatened in the 8th off reliever Kent DeColvey with 1 out. Ivan DeJesus singled and Larry Bittner walked, but Grant Jackson came on to get Bill Buckner to fly out, and Rich Gossage entered and got pinch hitter Greg Gross to force Bittner. Gossage picked up his 25th save. So the Pittsburgh Pirates remaining alive in the National League race in the East. The magic number for the Philadelphia Phils is 4. And, we'll take a look at that. We always talk about net magic numbers at this point of the season, but there are a number of folks who really aren't too sure how to compute a magic number. So stick around, and the next half inning will explain exactly how the magic number is figured out so you can check your stars and stripes and find out for yourself. So we'll do that the next half inning.
Otto Velez leading off against Don Gullett. And Velez takes high, ball 1. Bottom of the 2nd, the Yankees lead the Toronto Blue Jays 2-0. It'll be Velez, Doug Ault, and then Steve Bowling. The 1-0 pitch to Velez. It's swung on and missed. Otto is trying to hit it out of here. It's 1-1. Velez batting at .260 for the Blue Jays. 15 home runs and 60 runs batted in. He's their designated hitter tonight. Yankees play him straight away. Gullett rocks, and here's the 1-1 pitch. Fastball misses inside, 2 balls and a strike. The Yankees have 2 runs on 3 base hits after 1.5 innings of play. 2-1 pitch to Velez. Swung on and missed. It's 2-2. Reggie Jackson doubled in the Yankees' first run. Scored Rivers in the first inning, and then Chambliss his sacrifice fly, scoring Munson for the Yankees' 2 runs. Jackson now has 101 runs batted in. Chambliss 89. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Velez. Fouled straight back and against the screen. Count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes. Gullett gets the new ball, goes on the backside of the mound to work over it. Now he's back up top looking at Munson. Likes what he sees. 2-2 pitch. Fastball hit deep to left. Roy White back. And that ball is gone. A home run for Otto Velez. A towering fly ball in left field. We mentioned earlier the wind was blowing from right to left. And the ball got in about 6 rows. Velez has just hit his 16th home run of the year. And he now has 61 runs batted in. And the Yankees lead 2-1. And that'll bring on Doug Ault, the first baseman. Ault batting at .249, 11 home runs and 64 runs batted in. So Otto Velez hitting his 16th home run of the year. Ault takes outside, ball 1. First base hit against Don Gullett, and a big one. The 1-0. High and away, 2 balls, no strikes on Ault. On deck is Steve Bowling, the right fielder. Gullett rocks and deals. 2-0 pitch. Low, ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. During the day here in Toronto, it's 57 degrees. Of course, it cools off a bit at night. It's around 54, 55 degrees at game time. Here's a 3-0 pitch. We're right in there, called strike 3-1. Ault was taken all the way. Now he backs out, looks at his third base coach, Jackie Moore, and gets back in. With the wind blowing toward left, only 330 down that line. Cuts across 375. He was probably given the green light. 3-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. 3-2. Ault got off to a great start with the Blue Jays. Then the pitching caught up with him. And he's trying to come back. Bobby Dorr working with it, trying to cut down that big hitch a bit. Payoff pitch. Swung on and missed. All strikes out for out number 1. Second strikeout for Don Gullett. That'll bring on Steve Bowling, the right fielder. Bowling batting at .215 with a home run, 10 runs batted in. He's a right-handed hitter. On deck is Rick Cerrone, the catcher. Gullett's first pitch to Bowling. Fastball is in there, called strike. Here's a windup by Gullett and the 0-1 delivery. Too high this time with the fastball, 1-1. Another fine crowd here in Toronto. They really draw when the Yankees come in. Of course, they draw when anybody comes in. The curve's a strike. 1-2. Yankees lead the American League in per game attendance and attendance. Boston right behind us. Then the White Sox. Then the Toronto Blue Jays. 1-2 pitch. Call strike 3. Steve Bowling got looking. Third strikeout for Don Gullett, and they're 2 outs. Here's Cerrone batting .207. 1 home run, 10 runs batted in. Cerrone's a right-handed batter. A few years ago, played for Seton Hall. Makes a big jump to the biggies by way of Cleveland. And he takes outside, ball 1. A right-handed batter. The Yankees play him straight away. We call it rocks, and the 1-0 pitch to Cerrone. Swung on and missed. It's 1-1. Yankees 2, the Blue Jays 1, bottom of the second. 2 outs and nobody on for the Jays. One pitch is fouled back and into the Yankee dugout. 1-2. Yankees average 28,614 fans per date. That's over 68 dates, 74 ball games. Blue Jays 23,269. Cerrone takes outside, 2-2. 75 games over 69 dates. Yankees also drawing well on the road, 1,990,834. So they will go over 2 million when this crowd finishes filing in. Probably be about 2,030,000. Fastball is foul back. Still 2-2 on Cerrone. The Blue Jays and the Yankees expect to draw over 100,000 for this 3-game series. Got about 35 or 40 in here already, perhaps. Pitch. Swung on and missed. Got him with a breaking ball. Don Gullett, after giving up the leadoff home run to Otto Velez, strikes out the side. 1 run on 1 base hit. Nobody left. At the end of 2, the Yankees 2, the Blue Jays 1.
All right, let's give you about a 90-second course in figuring magic numbers. You hear him talk about about the so-called all-important loss column. Well, this is why. Because to determine a club's magic number in the pennant race, you take the number of games left to play, add 1, and then subtract the number of games ahead in the loss column of the standings from the closest opponent. Let's take Philadelphia. Philadelphia right now has played 152 games. Their record is 94 wins, 58 losses. They have 10 games left to play in the 162-game schedule, so you add 1 to that, that's 11. Now, Philadelphia has lost 58 games. Pittsburgh has lost 65. So that's a difference there of 7 games. So you subtract 7 from 11 and you come up with 4. And that's the magic number for Philadelphia to clinch the National League East, and that's 4 games. Now, Pittsburgh played Chicago earlier, and Pittsburgh won that game, so that magic number remains 4, and we'll see how Philadelphia does against Montreal. The New York Yankees magic number is 9. Use the same formula. You find out how many games a team has left to play in the 162-game schedule, then you add 1, and then you subtract the number of games the first-place team is ahead of the nearest competitor in the loss column, and that tells you what the magic number is. The magic number for New York to clinch the American League East right now is 9 games. And that's the story on the magic number.
Now, top of the third, and Mickey Rivers will lead off for the Yankees. Yankees lead 2-1 over the Blue Jays. Rivers got a base hit when grabbed his slow bounce to the first base and threw it to the pitcher, Jesse Jefferson, who dropped it. And Mickey takes high, ball one. Rivers scored on a double by Reggie Jackson for the Yankees' first run. Chambliss drove in Munson for the Yankees' second run. Rivers takes low, 2-0. All that happened in the first inning. Bottom of last inning, Otto Velez at his 16th home run. So it's 2-1 Yankees in the third. Called strike on Rivers. It was taken all the way, 2-1. Rivers, White, and Munson against Jesse Jefferson. 2-1 pitch. Low, ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. Jefferson has been plagued by wildness much of his career. Ball popped straight back and out of play. 3-2 on Rivers. He's been getting the ball around the plate a little better lately. And he wants new baseball, and Al Clark gives him one. Here's the payoff pitch to Rivers. Curveball is too high. Ball 4. Rivers walk. So Mickey has been on base twice. And 2 times up, and that'll bring on Roy White. White pops to second his first time up in the first inning. Rivers now taking a little bigger lead at first base. And Jefferson goes in. Rivers gets back. Mickey has that front foot on the artificial surface. Before he was just taking a short lead. Now he's back out there again. Now he shortens up about a step. Pitch to White. He bunts. Foul outside third. 1 strike. Yankees lead 2-1. Third inning. Rivers on at first base. Nobody out. They count no balls and 1 strike on Roy White. Jefferson gets the sign straight. The 1-strike pitch. Curveball is low. 1-1. These fans still coming in here. A lot of them wearing parkas, blankets, leather coats. White fouls it back. 1-2. They have over 2 million people in Ontario, here at Toronto, rather. Not too small a city. Took a little ride to Niagara Falls yesterday on the off day. Now the set. 1-2. Line, that fight ball. Woods is after it and can't get to it. It's off his glove. Rivers around second going for third, and they're going to wait him in. The throw home will not be in time. Now White's going to go to third. Throw there. They've got him. Rivers scores all the way from first base on that single to center field. Now they might give White a double. That ball was played on the short hop by Woods. Came off his glove, and the right fielder, Steve Bowling, backed him up. Threw to McKay, the second baseman, whose throw home was not in time to get Rivers, but Cerrone threw a strike over to third base, and they've got White there. So we'll wait on the scores ruling, but the Yankees do lead it now 3-1. And here's Munson. 2 base hit. 2 base hit for Roy White, and he gets the run batted in. And the put out 9-2-5. You might hear that in the background. Bowling, the right fielder, to Cerrone, the catcher, over to the third baseman, Roy Howell. So there's 1 out, nobody on. Yankees up 3-1, and the first pitch to Munson was high, ball 1. Here's Jefferson's next delivery. Swung on line, foul outside third base. 1-1.
That is Steve Bowling, 12 outfield assists. That's bye-bye.
Munson's been up one single to center field and scored on a sacrifice fly by Chris Chambliss. 1-1 delivery. Swung on and fouled off right side. That'll be out of play. A ball and 2 strikes on Munson. Stealing on deck is Reggie Jackson. Jefferson looking in for sign. Now he's ready. The 1-2 pitch to Munson. Curveball line fouled into the seats down the first base line. Still a ball and 2 strikes. A walk to Rivers. A double. and an RBI by White. The Yankees lead 3-1. Top of the third. 1-2 to Munson. Hit on the ground, base hit up the middle. Woods in, and he'll throw it back, and then Munson will hold at first base. Thurman 2 for 2 in the ball game. Both a base hit. Right back up the middle. Here's Jackson. Reggie has been up once at his 37th double, driving in Mickey Rivers in the first inning, scoring the Yankees' first run. Reggie now has 101 runs batted in. Munson off first. He's being held there by Alt. Pitch to Jackson's foul back. No balls and a strike. Willis, the left-hander, getting loose for the Blue Jays. Mike Willis. Now the set. The one-strike pitch is a called strike to put the fastball by. 0-2 on Jackson. On deck is Chris Chambliss. Jefferson bends forward. Now he's straight. He's at the belt. The 0-2 pitch. Just missed outside. 1-2. Jesse Jefferson looks like he's got a pretty good fastball in this ball game. He's ready. 1-2 pitch. Swung on, line foul into the seat, stopped behind third base. Well, the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes on Reggie Jackson. Blue Jays play Jackson straight away, although their third baseman Howell plays off the bag and off the line. Here's the 1-2. Change-up. Knocked down. Scooped up and blocked nicely by Cerrone, the catcher. 2-2. Munson off first. He's checked. 2-2 pitch to Jackson. Curveball. Check swing bounces short. To second for 1, and McKay has to hold on to the ball as Munson almost upset him. McKay got there and had to jump up as Munson rumbled into second base. So the force on Munson, 6-4. Jackson now on at first base with a fielder's choice. 2 away, and the batter's Chris Chambliss. Chris has been up once, drove in a run with a sacrifice fly. Chambliss in left-handed. He now has 17 home runs and 89 runs batted in. Bounces this one to first. Alt grabs it. Touches up at first base, and the side is retired. Yankees pick up another run on 2 base hits. They leave a man on base. And at the end of 2.5, the Yankees 3, the Blue Jays 1.
Mike Hill moved into the lead among the early finishers in the second round of the Ohio Kings Island Golf Tournament in Mason, Ohio. Hill posted a 565 and a 36-hole total of 133. That was 1 stroke better than Ben Crenshaw, the defending champion, who stood at 134. The co-leaders in the first round, Tom Kite and Bill Colby, each shot a 69 for a 135, 2 strokes behind the leader. Jack Nicklaus struggled for the second day in a row and had a 72 at 145, and he might miss the cut for the third time in 12 months. Jack flew home to Florida for his son's birthday after finishing his round. He said he would return for the third round tomorrow if he survives the cut. Heavyweight champion Muhammad Ali shrugs off criticism that he's not training hard enough for next week's title fight with Ernie Shavers. After both he and Shavers passed physical stride in New York, Ali said he would be ready once the opening bell sounds next Thursday night. U.S. Olympic Committee President Robert Kane denies that New York City has gained the edge over Los Angeles in the battle to be the American city to bid for the 1984 Olympics. Kane emphasized that the decision will not be made until Sunday, and that he says right now it's a close race. Neil Bonnet won the pole position for Sunday's Old Dominion 500 stock car race in Martinsville, Virginia. Bonnet, driving a Dodge, averaged 87 6/10 miles an hour on the half-mile track, and that's a qualifying record for that race.
Well, Dave McKay, the second baseman, will lead off against Don Gullett in the bottom of the third. The Yankees lead the Blue Jays 3-1. McKay's a right-handed batter. Gullett's first pitch is a curveball. It's too high. At the end of 2 in Cleveland, Baltimore nothing. The Cleveland Indians nothing. 1-0 to McKay. Swung on and missed. 1-1. Phillies Montreal, no score after 1.5 in the National League. Also in the National League, Cincinnati nothing, Atlanta nothing after 1. 1-1 delivery to Dave McKay. Fastball is swung on and missed. No balls, 2 strikes. It will be McKay, Tim Nordbrook, and then back up to the top of the batting order for the Blue Jays, Gary Woods. Gullett's 1-2 delivery. Swung on and missed. Got him with the curveball. Gullett has now struck out 4 in a row and 5 overall, and there's 1 away in the 3rd. He struck out Roy Howell to end the 1st inning, then gave up the leadoff home run to Otto Velez in the top of the 2nd. After giving up that home run to Velez, he struck out Alt, Bowling, and Cerrone to end that 2nd inning, and he gets McKay leading off here in the 3rd. Here's Nordbrook, the shortstop. Nordbrook is a right-handed batter. He's hitting 185. And he takes outside, ball 1. Gullett rocks, and the 1-0 pitch. Foul back, it's 1-1. Yankees have 3 runs on 5 base hits. The Blue Jays 1 run on 1 base hit. Neither team has made an error. 1/3 of the ball game is almost over. Yankee outfield shortens up for Tim Nordbrook. Jackson very shallow in right. So is Rivers in center. 1-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. The ball and 2 strikes. Now Nordbrook gets out of the batter's box. Now he'll get back in. Gullett waiting for him. Now he shakes his head. He doesn't like the sign from Munson. And once again, Nordbrook backs out. Everybody's ready. 1-2 delivery. Pop foul. That'll be out of play. Count remains 1-2. Another game with the Blue Jays tomorrow afternoon, and the final game of this road trip. And the Yankees' final game on the road this year will be on Sunday afternoon. The Yankees will be back home Monday against the Cleveland Indians. 1-2 delivery to Nordbrook. Swung on and missed. 5 straight strikeouts for Don Gullett. Total of 6. And there are 2 outs. And that'll bring on Gary Woods, who fouled out to Chambliss in the 1st inning. Gary Woods, a right-handed batter. Outfield backs up just a little for him. Here's Gullett's first pitch. It's outside and high, ball 1. Don Gullett has that good fastball, a hard curve, and a pretty good forkball. And he rocks the 1-0 to Woods. Swung on and missed. 1-1. And the 1-1 delivery. Curveball is inside. 2 balls and a strike. The Yankees leading 3-1. 2 outs, nobody on base for the Blue Jays in the bottom half of the 3rd inning at Exhibition Park. Not too far from Lake Ontario. 2-1 pitch. Fastballs are called. Strike 2. It's 2-2. Gullett will get you looking for that forkball or that curveball and slip the fastball by you. So far, he slipped that fastball and forkball and curveball by 6. And it's 7 now as Woods goes down. So Don Gullett has struck out the side of the last 2 innings, and at the end of 3 innings of play, it's the Yankees 3, the Blue Jays 1.
George Foster of Cincinnati continues to lead the major leagues in home runs with 49. Jeff Burroughs of Atlanta has 40. Lazinski and Schmidt of Philadelphia next in the National League with 36. Rice of Boston leads the American League in home runs with 38. Bonds of California with 36. Nettles of New York with 35. The RBI leader, Foster of Cincinnati with 142. Lazinski of Philadelphia next in the National League with 122. Larry Heisel of Minnesota, the top American League RBI man with 113. Bobby Bonds of California next with 111. Frank Tavares of Pittsburgh, the National League stolen base leader with 66. Cesar Cedeno of Houston is next with 55. The American League stolen base leader, Freddie Patek of Kansas City with 50. Bobby Bonds of California is next with 39. As far as pitching is concerned, Steve Carlton of Philadelphia with the most victories of anybody in the major leagues. He's 22-9. Rick Russell of Chicago is 20-8. Those are the only 20-game winners in the major leagues. In the American League, the leading pitcher from the standpoint of victories, Nolan Ryan of California at 19-15. The strikeout leaders, Nico of Atlanta leading the National League with 252. J.R. Richard of Houston is next with 194. In the American League, Nolan Ryan of California, the leader there, and in the major leagues, Ryan has struck out 330 batters thus far in 1977.
The end of 3, and here to take you over the next 3, the Scooter, Phil Rizzuto.
All right, Bill, John Gullett, red hot tonight. One ball hit out of the infield, but that one happened to be a home run by Otto Velez. Greg Nettles, the batter. Greg flied deep to center field his first time up. Jefferson winds, and the pitch is fouled. Son of a gun just missed the first foul ball of the year. Just below us. Yankees 3 runs on 5 hits. The Blue Jays 1 run on a 1 hit. Inside 1-1. I think Jesse Jefferson's got good stuff tonight. I think it's a good thing the Yankees got to him a little early here with 3 runs. He could be rough. Fastball base hit left field as Nettles goes the opposite way. Grabbed on one hop by Bob Bell of the left fielder. And the Yankees have their 6th hit of the ball game. Brings up Lou Piniella, who bounced to third his first time up. Cold night in Toronto. What a beautiful city this is. Curve is over to Piniella. Baltimore failed to score in the top of the 4th. The Indians are batting in the bottom of the 4th at Cleveland. No score. The next pitch is inside. 1 ball, 1 strike on Piniella. Nobody out. In the top of the 4th, and the Yankees leading 3-1. The stretch by Jefferson, and the curve is inside. 2 balls and a strike. On deck, Willie Randolph. Nettles leading off first base. Outfield straight away on Piniella, and Lou's been swinging a hot bat. A bounce to the third, could be 2. Howell goes to second, 1. Back to first. Oh, he's out, but Nettles low bridge. McKay, and McKay still got the throw off to complete the double play. He showed me something there. Nettles with a clean, hard slide just cut the feet out from McKay, but McKay still got rid of it. And they made the double play around the horn, and we'll pause for station identification on the New York Yankees Home of Champions radio network.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
Willie Randolph has the count of 1 ball, 1 strike on him as we check the record for consecutive strikeouts. Nolan Ryan of the American League has struck out 8 in a row twice. There's a pitch low outside 2-1 as Mickey Morabito shows us. And who has it in the National League? Tom Seaver struck out 10 men in a row. That pitch is low. It's 3-1 on Willie Randolph. On April 22nd in 1970. Tom Seaver struck out 10 men in a row. How do you like that? Line drive. What a play by Tim Nordbrook. A leaping backhand one-hand grab. 2 fine defensive plays by the Blue Jays that inning. For the Yankees, no runs, a hit, no errors, nobody left. At the end of 3.5, the Yankees 3 and the Blue Jays 1. A recent coronary bypass operation has not stopped Oakland A's owner Charlie Finley from personally promoting one of his ball players for Rookie of the Year honors. Finley says he's feeling fine. He said, if I felt any better, I'd get arrested. He said, the doctors think I'll be out of here maybe Sunday or Monday. Finley entered Northwestern Memorial Hospital September 11th complaining of chest pains After 4 days of tests, Finley underwent surgery in which doctors removed and replaced blocked blood vessels to his heart. Finley said he was calling to suggest that baseball writers consider Oakland outfielder Mitchell Page for Rookie of the Year. Things for Oakland A's this year just haven't been too bright, you might say. He says, and Finley has his own terminology there, since we've been Kuhnized, and he says he's referring to Baseball Commissioner Bowie Kuhn, who nullified the sale of 3 of Finley's ball players to other clubs. He did say that there's one bright light continuously shining in the A's organization, and he says that has been Mitchell Page. As of Thursday, Page's batting average was .310 with 72 RBIs, 20 homers, 143 hits, and 37 stolen bases. He was obtained by Oakland last year in a trade with Pittsburgh. One afternoon game in the major leagues, Ed Ott's 2-out, 2-run homer in the 8th inning broke up a scoreless game and led Pittsburgh to a 2-0 victory over the Chicago Cubs. So Philadelphia's magic number for clinching in the National League East remains 4 games. Bob Baylor leading off here in the bottom of the 4th, fouls the first pitch back into the crowd, and the fan made a great catch. Baylor fouled out to Chris Chambliss in the first inning. Remember, Gullett has 6 strikeouts in a row. He has a total of 7 in the ball game. Don winds, and the fastball is fouled out of play over the Yankee dugout back into the crowd, so it's 0-2. Nolan Ryan, twice in his career, has struck out 8 men in a row for the American League record, but the Major League record held by Tom Seaver. And the way he did it is amazing. He struck out 1 man in the 6th, 3 in the 7th, 3 in the 8th, and 3 in the 9th. Just inside, almost hit Baylor. A ball and 2 strikes. This is really a weird stance that Baylor has. The left foot way drawn back from the right foot and on the toes of the left foot. Low and inside is 2-2. Gullett has allowed just the 1 base hit, the home run by Otto Velez, leading off the top of the 2nd, the bottom of the 2nd. And the 2-2 pitch. Bounce to the 3rd. Takes care of the strikeout record. That'll throw high, but Chambliss again holding that foot on the bag. He is amazing how he can do that. Stretches way up in the air, but continues to keep the toes of the right foot on the bag. 1 away, and now Roy Howell, the batter. Howell struck out his first time up.
Too short of the American League record.
First pitch to Howell over his head, ball 1. And on deck, Otto Velez. Yankees 3, Blue Jays 1 in the bottom of the 4th. Gullett winds, and the curve is fouled back and out of play. Don doesn't like the feel of that baseball and gets another one from the plate umpire, Alan Clark. Rivers is shading Howell, a left-hand batter, over towards left center. And the ball is fouled just to our left and out of play. They get closer to us for a souvenir. One ball, 2 strikes. Gullett kicks, delivers, strike 3, swinging. Second time Howell has gone down on strikes. 8 strikeouts in the ball game for Gullett, and here is Otto Velez, who homered over the left field wall. It was a towering home run. When he first hit it, didn't look like it was going to carry. And then just did get over the fence. Otto has hit Yankee pitching well all year. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Otto with 16 home runs on the year. Unfairly leads the Blue Jays with 19 home runs. Swing and a miss at a forkball. It's 0-2. Now Don winds. The 2-strike pitch. Just got a piece of it. Fouled it off to the right of the plate. Still 0-2. Some interesting news in the papers up here. Catfish Hunter has gone to the bullpen for the Yankees for possibly the rest of the year. Peter Bavesi, president of the Toronto Blue Jays, wants to hire his dad as a scout. That pitch is low outside, ball one. Buzzy Bavesi, who has been in baseball 40 years, just left as president of the San Diego Padres, and son wants to give him a job. Not bad. That pitch is high. It's 2-2. Also a big feud brewing between Roy Hartsfield, the skipper of the Blue Jays, and Earl Weaver of the Orioles. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Gullit shakes off one sign. Now he winds. And the pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Oh, that Gullit is throwing that ball. 3 up, 3 down. At the end of 4 full innings, the Yankees 3 and the Blue Jays 1. In the American League on Thursday, Baltimore 7, Toronto 1, Detroit 5, Boston 4, Chicago 5, Seattle 4, and Texas 6, California nothing. In the East, New York leading Baltimore by a game and a half, Boston 3 back. Detroit trails by 21.5, Cleveland by 26, Milwaukee 30 back, and Toronto by 41. In the West, Kansas City has clinched at least a tie for the championship. Kansas City leading Texas by 10.5 games. Chicago is 11.5 back. Minnesota trails by 16.5. California 24 back. Oakland by 36, and Seattle by 38. In the National League Thursday, San Diego 3, Cincinnati 1, Chicago 5, Philadelphia 3, Montreal 2, St. Louis nothing, Atlanta 8, Houston 4. In the East, Philadelphia leads Pittsburgh by 6.5 games. The magic number for the Phils, 4 games. Chicago trails by 14.5. St. Louis is 15.5 back. Montreal trails by 23, and New York by 34.5. Los Angeles has already clinched. Los Angeles leading Cincinnati by 11 games. Houston is 16 back. San Francisco trails by 22.5 games. San Diego is 27 out, and Atlanta is last in the West, trailing by 33.5 games. All right, we get ready to go in the top of the 5th inning, and Bucky Dent will lead it off for the Yankees. Bucky bounced to second his first time up. Yankees in front 3-1. They scored 2 in the first and 1 in the third. Pitch to Dent, bounce foul outside of third, strike 1. Mickey Rivers singled in the first and scored, and walked in the third and scored. Jesse Jefferson's curve bounced foul again over in the Toronto Blue Jay dugout. 0-2. And it is cold, and I did not bring a coat. The kick and the pitch, pop foul down the right field line, back into the crowd, out of play. At the end of an inning and a half, the Red Sox are leading the Tigers 2-0. At the end of 3, it's Cincinnati 1 and Atlanta nothing. Red Sox lost a big ball game to the Tigers last night, 5-4. Fastball swing and a miss. Dent goes down on strikes. And that's the first strikeout in the ball game. And Cleveland has come up with 2 runs in the bottom of the 4th. They lead Baltimore 2-0 at the end of 4. That is the big game that the Yankees will be watching very carefully. Mickey Rivers, the batter, takes a pitch down low, ball 1. Cleveland 2 and Baltimore nothing at the end of 4. Jefferson winds the pitch inside, 2-0. The walk to Rivers in the 3rd inning was his 17th walk of the year, which matches the number on the back of his shirt. There's a bounce to the second base. McKay in. Up with a throw to first. No! He called him out. Man, that was close. Mickey shaking his head, and Billy Martin's going to go out now to argue. I thought Rivers had beaten that throw to first base. Martin is out arguing. I really thought Mickey had beaten that out. 2 men are out, but boy, Rivers really went down that line on a Baltimore chop over the pitcher's head. McKay had to grab a throw across his body. Billy Martin's going to lose that argument, but he's behind his players 100%. Here's Roy White. Roy pops a second, double a center to drive in a run. Pitch to Roy is down low, ball one. And Roy asks the plate umpire, Alan Clark, to look at that ball. He does and keeps it in play. Rick Cerrone behind the plate. New Jersey boy. Seton Hall, New Jersey. Fastball is low, 2-0. 2 out, nobody on. Top of the fifth. The Yankees lead 3-1. On deck, Thurman Munson. Fastball is outside, 3-0. Yankees 3, Blue Jays 1 here in the top of the fifth. There's a strike, 3-1. The kick and the pitch fouled back off the screen. Full count on Roy White. Jefferson goes to the rosin bag. Payoff pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Jefferson now starting to get some strikeouts. The Yankees get down in order, and at the end of 4.5, the Yankees 3 and the Blue Jays 1. In Major League Baseball, a no-hitter on Thursday. Bert Blyleven coming through with his first no-hitter, a 6-0 rout of the California Angels. And Blyleven must have felt it was about time to enter the record books. Since joining the majors in 1970, he has tossed 4 one-hitters. Blyleven was consistent throughout the game Thursday, walking 1 man and striking out 7. Even the partisan crowd at Anaheim Stadium was cheering him on in the final frames. Blyleven was the 3rd no-hitter in the major leagues this year. You know, it's kind of funny about baseball crowds. Normally, a baseball crowd will get on the opposition pitcher come heck or high water. However, everybody wants to be in on a piece of history. And a no-hitter is really a very special thing when you consider how many no-hitters have been broken up in the 8th and 9th innings. So that home crowd figures, well, we're losing 6-0, so forget about who's going to win the ball game. Let's hope we get in a bit of history here and see a no-hitter. That's what happened. The Texas victory can only put off what appears to be a certain supremacy for Kansas City in the American League West. After taking the day off, the Royals are 10.5 games in front of Texas with a magic number of 1. That means that Kansas City at this moment has clinched at least a tie for the American League West Championship, and it'll take just one more Kansas City win or Texas loss, and that's it. Kansas City will have clinched the West. In the American League East, Baltimore victorious 7-1 over Toronto. That was Toronto's 100th loss of the year and leaves Baltimore just a game and a half behind the Yankees. All right, Doug Ault, who struck out his first time up, will lead it off. Yankees in front 3-1. Gullett has 9 strikeouts on the night, and this is just the bottom of the 5th. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Gullett just rearing back and throwing that smoke. The left-hander winds a pitch, swing and a miss, strike 2. He's got the Blue Jay batters shaking their heads up there. Nothing in 2 to count. Gullett winds, and the pitch is hit in the air to center field. Rivers turns now and makes the catch. Hall did get a piece of the ball, but flied out to straightaway center field, 1 out. That'll bring up Steve Bowling, who struck out his first time up. The only man in the lineup who Gullett has not struck out is Bob Baylor, who popped to first and bounced to third. And there's a line drive right at Bucky Dent for the 2nd out. A sinking line drive that Bucky caught down around the ankle. 2 away, and now Rick Cerrone. The Seton Hall Flash. Rick struck out his first time up. First pitch to Rick is down low, ball 1. On deck, Dave McKay. There's a pitch on the outside corner, 1-1. Yankees 3 runs on 6 hits. The Blue Jays 1 run on a 1 hit. Curve is outside, 2-1. At the end of 5 now, it's Cleveland 2 and Baltimore nothing. There's a foul back and out of play. So 5 innings down the well, and the Birds have not scored. Cleveland picked up 2 in the bottom of the 4th. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, nobody on. Cerrone asks for time at the plate. Now he's ready. So is Gullett. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Strikeout number 10 for Gullett. 3 up, 3 down. And at the end of 5, the Yankees 3 and the Blue Jays 1. 2 days ago, the Philadelphia Phillies had a magic number of 4 in the National League East. After dropping a pair at home against Chicago, that magic number still is 4 with 10 games to go. History buffs know that the same formula in 1964 led to absolute disaster as the Phils dropped 10 straight to finish in second place. Danny Ozark, the manager, says that is not going to happen again. Ozark says the team is playing good ball, but just needs to get a few more runs on the scoreboard. In the last 2 outings, the Phillies have been shut out. Philadelphia trying to reverse that losing trend in Montreal as the second-place Pirates come off a rest day and face the Chicago Cubs. They've already won that game as the Pirates are trailing Philadelphia by 6.5 games. Baltimore and Cleveland, as you probably heard, Cleveland leading 2-0 after 5 full at Cleveland. May pitching for Baltimore, he's 17-13. Wade's pitching for Cleveland. His record is 8-7. Philadelphia leading Montreal in the National League game. Philadelphia 2, Montreal nothing. That ball game is in the bottom of the 4th at Montreal. St. Louis leads New York 2-0 after an inning and a half at New York. So that's a look at the baseball scoreboard at the moment. Also in the National League, Los Angeles is playing at Houston. I don't know how that Bartolucci expects me to finish my Danish and coffee when he keeps putting me on the air. Could spin a couple of records, Bartolucci, while we're waiting for Thurman Munson. Now, Thurman is 2 for 2, and he is getting ever so near that magic 300 mark. Came into the game batting .294. With 2 for 2, he's up to .297. Thurman singled to center and scored in the first, and singled to center in the third. Thurman now with 166 base hits. Mickey Rivers leads the Yankees with 174. Pitch to Munson, line to left, and coming on the left fielder, drops in front of him. Baylor, who is normally an infielder, kind of started in, stopped, let the ball hit him off the chest, and Munson is 3 for 3. And that puts him a couple of points closer to 300. Here's Reggie Jackson, who ripped a double to right field to drive in the first run of the ball game, and then bounced to short. He's 1 for 2. But Reggie has 101 runs batted in on the year to lead the Yankees in that department. He is swinging a red-hot bat. The pitch to Reggie. Foul down the left field line, way back into the crowd. And on deck, Chris Chambliss. And we're going to have some action down the Blue Jay bullpen. Jesse Jefferson, all holding first against Munson. The kick and the pitch down low, it's 1-1. Remember last night the Tigers beat the Red Sox. That puts the Red Sox 3 games in the loss column behind the Yankees. Baltimore losing 2-0 into 5. There's a swing and a miss by Reggie, a ball and 2 strikes. Baltimore a game and a half behind the Yankees, but 2 games in the loss column. And that is the all-important column when you get down to the wire. The 1-2 pitch, foul back and out of play. Nobody out here in the top of the 6th inning. Jefferson looks for the sign from Cerrone. Checks Munson at first. And a pitch foul to the right of the plate. Still a ball and 2 strikes on Jackson as Jefferson exchanges baseballs. Umpires very smartly dressed tonight with their turtleneck sweaters and heavy jackets on. A lot of the fans in coats and blankets and woolen caps. That's a foul just below it. Count remains a ball and 2 strikes.
Mike Willis, number 33, warming up for Toronto.
Mike Willis, the left-hander, loosening up for the Blue Jays. Munson leads off first. Jefferson checks him, delivers to the plate, and another foul to our left and out of play. Reggie Jackson steps out of the batter's box. Reggie's still not able to go at 100%. Still has that right knee heavily bandaged. The kick and the pitch inside evens the count at 2-2. They have been using electric blankets here in Toronto for quite a while. The 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Jefferson chalks up his 3rd strikeout of the ball game. And those 3 strikeouts have come in the last inning and the 3rd. Here's Chris Chambliss, who hit a sacrifice fly to drive in a run in the 1st and bounced to 1st in the 3rd. Chris batting .290. Munson still at first with 1 out. The Yankees lead 3-1 in the top of the 6th. Pitch to Chambliss. Strike 1 call. Good fastball, knee high. On deck, Greg Nettles. Jefferson leans in for the sign. And the curve is... Whoop, where was it? Jefferson, hands on his hips, Cerrone shaking his head. Alan Clark called it a ball, and it's 1-1. That was a sharp-breaking curveball. Jefferson to the belt. Fastball, bounce back to the pitcher. He wheels, goes to short one. Back to first, double play. 2 good double plays. 1-6-3 on that one. No runs, a hit, no errors, nobody left at the end of 5.5. Yankees 3, Blue Jays 1. Dave Parker of Pittsburgh, the top batter in the National League with a .341 average. Stennett of Pittsburgh at .336. Simmons of St. Louis is hitting .324. Foster of Cincinnati and Griffey of Cincinnati are both hitting .321. Templeton of St. Louis at .320. Smith of Los Angeles is hitting .311. Hendrick of San Diego at .310, and Rose of Cincinnati and Luzinski of Philadelphia both hitting .305. In the American League, Carew of Minnesota hitting .385, the top hitter in the major leagues. Bostic of Minnesota hitting .333, as is Kenny Singleton of Baltimore. Ron LaFleur of Detroit hitting .325. Rivers of New York is hitting .323. Rice of Boston at .319. Brett of Kansas City at .315. Page of Oakland is hitting .313. Baylor of Toronto at .311. Fisk of Boston and Bunbury of Baltimore both hitting .310. As far as the batters with 200 or more hits on the season, Carew, the leader there, with 225. LaFleur of Detroit in the American League with 201. And Parker of Pittsburgh with 209. Other players with a shot at it, Pete Rose of Cincinnati with 191 in the National League. Rice of Boston with 194 base hits in the American League. Those are the only hitters with a pretty good shot at hitting at least 200 hits in the 1977 season. Dave McKay, who struck out his first time up, leads off against Don Gullett, who has 10 strikeouts in the ballgame. That matches Don's high for the year as a Yankee. He did it once before against Oakland, and that's the high for any Yankee pitcher, 10. The pitch to McKay, down low, ball 1. Bartolucci's gone Canadian on it. Yes, since we got here to Toronto. Fly ball right center. Rivers moving to his left. He's there, though, and makes the catch. 1 out. Well, the Blue Jay fans are cheering whenever one of their heroes hits a foul ball or a fair ball. Tim Nordberg, who struck out his first time up the batter. 1 out, nobody on. The Yankees in front, 3-1. Don Gullett kicks and delivers. Strike 1. The next pitch is inside, 1-1. On deck, Gary Woods. Gullett's 1-1 pitch, foul back in the seats and out of play. A ball and 2 strikes. We'll pause for station identification on the New York Yankees Home of Champions Radio Network.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
You're listening to SCN Radio in the Canal Zone.
A ground ball hit to third. Nettles one-hands it. Fires to first. 2 men are out. That'll bring up Gary Woods, who fouled the Chambliss and struck out. 2 out and nobody on. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. And the Yankees lead it 3-1. They scored 2 in the first and 1 in the third. Pitch is high to Gary Woods. Ball 1. Only one man has gotten on base against Gullett, but that was a home run by Otto Vellers. That's low. Nobody else has gotten on base. 2-0 the count. Yankees have their 3 aces primed for this 3-game series. Foul back off the screen. Tomorrow it'll be Guidry and Sunday Ed Figueroa. Toronto, that boy gets a good hand. He hustled after that foul ball. 2 balls and a strike. Line, that's going to be in the alley. Rivers digging. No, Mickey's going to make the catch. Mickey Rivers, good jump on a line drive up the alley in right center field. 3 up, 3 down. At the end of 6, the Yankees 3 and the Blue Jays 1. 4-time Indianapolis 500 winner A.J. Foyt pulled into the Trenton International Speedway pits early Friday morning with Coyote crew and raring to go. The 42-year-old Houston, Texas native, whose appearances on the USAC Championship Trail this season have been sporadic, had not previously entered Saturday's Mechanics Union 150 USAC Championship race. He says, "I'm here to test this car before we go to Indianapolis next Wednesday to do tire testing for Goodyear." And he says, "Besides, I've got 2 horses running at Keystone Racetrack in Pennsylvania this afternoon." Foyt denied the persistent rumors of his impending retirement and laughed about the way the news media has built up those stories. He said when he was in Ontario, California, Tom Carnegie, an announcer, told the fans that it might be the last time they'd see A.J. Foyt race. He said, "That's bull bleep." He said, "I've never talked to nobody about retiring." He said, "If I was getting out of racing, why would I have Howard Gilbert, the engine man, working so hard on engines? And why would I be building 2 new cars for next year?" He said, "I've said it before, and I will say it again. When I get ready to retire, I'll just pull into the pits, jerk off my helmet, and tell you all to go to hell." That's what he said, but he was grinning when he said it. So A.J. Foyt, who has a lot of friends, and I suppose a lot of folks who don't feel too kindly toward him in racing, but nobody can deny the fact he's one of the premier racers on the USAC circuit. Greg Nettles to lead it off for the Yankees as we get ready for the top of the 7th. And as Frank Messer comes in, good news at the end of 6, Cleveland 2, Baltimore nothing. Frank?
Okay, those Indians are hanging tough. Greg Nettles swings and misses. Strike 1. Because I think, the clubs playing the contenders get awfully tough this time of year. Jefferson's next pitch, up high, and the count evens 1-1. One pitch to Gregg. Curve is over for a called strike. Jefferson rocks and offers. Nettles bounces one slowly out in front of the plate. Picked up by Cerrone. Throws to first in time. Well, Cerrone really turned that ball loose. He fired hard to his first baseman, Doug Alt. So Nettles is retired. That brings up Lou Piniella, the Yankees' designated hitter. Nettles now is 1 for 3. Piniella is 0 for 2. He's grounded twice to the third baseman, Roy Howell, once into a double play. Jefferson has his sign. The right-hander's pitch. A slider misses. Ball 1. The crowd here in Toronto tonight will put the Yankees over $2 million on the road this year. Fly ball is hit into right field, but waiting for it, Steve Bowling, and he makes the catch to retire Piniella. 2 outs here in the 7th. The batter will be Willie Randolph. Willie has flied to center and lined out to the shortstop. The Yankees got 2 runs in the first inning. Picked up another in the third and lead 3-1. The pitch, high. Mickey Rivers beat out an infield hit in the first. Moved to third on Munson's single to center and scored on Jackson's double. Ground ball is hit to the shortstop. Moving to his left, Nordbrook has it. The throw to first retires the Yankees in order. And at the end of 6.5, the score is New York 3 and Toronto 1.
The University of Southern California's John Robinson doesn't want to hear about Texas Christian University's dismal football past. Instead, he says, he'd rather spend his time thinking about his own second-ranked Trojans, who host the Horned Frogs in their home opener Saturday at the Los Angeles Coliseum. The odds makers rate that game at the Coliseum as a mismatch of the grossest proportions, and there's clear evidence of that. They're not even carrying it on the board. And according to Robinson, he said, sure, we worked on TCU's offensive sets this week, but we try to concern ourselves with what direction we're going and not about what our opponent has or hasn't done. After last weekend, he said, we realize we have a lot of improvements to be made if we're going to get through the rest of the season without a loss. After knocking off Missouri 27-10 in its opener, Southern Cal was hard-pressed at Oregon State last Saturday night before prevailing 17-10 on a 50-yard touchdown pass from Rob Hurdle to Randy Simron in the last quarter. With only 2 winning seasons since 1963, Texas Christian has established itself as perennially the worst team in the nation. The Horned Frogs have a new coach, F.A. Dry, who had a successful record at Tulsa, but the Horned Frogs are 0-2 this season. Dry, of course, insists that it's only a matter of time before he can turn TCU back in the right direction. The Horned Frogs won the Southwest Conference Championship in '58, shared the title in '59, but it looks like it's going to be a little bit longer before he can turn it the direction he wants to turn that team.
Yep. You know, the Yankees come back for their final homestand of the year starting Monday night, opening a 4-game series with the Cleveland Indians. Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night. So all games start at 8 o'clock. The Thursday game is a makeup of an earlier season rainout and is not on your season schedule. You can get your tickets now at Yankee Stadium and all Ticketron outlets. Well, the fans here in Toronto have had their 7th inning stretch. Bob Baylor is 0 for 2. He has popped to Chambliss and grounded out to Nettles. He takes a high fastball, ball 1. Gullett rocks and offers inside. Gullett has retired 15 men in a row since a second inning leadoff home run by Otto Velez, and that is the only base hit in the ball game for Toronto. Gullett deals, drive out to left field. Roy White is going back, and it is off the wall. The ball is in play. White picks it up, throws back into Bucky Dent, and Bob Baylor is in at second base with a double. Was well hit and seemed to handcuff Roy. It hit the base of the wall in left field. Base hit number 2, and Gullett, who had retired 15 in a row, now looks around and finds the leadoff hitter here in the 7th, Bob Baylor at second base, and Roy Howell is the batter. Howell has struck out twice, once called, once swinging. The Yankees are leading 3-1. Blue Jays have a threat started here in the 7th. Gullett comes set, the kick and the pitch. Foul back in the crowd on the left side. A couple of weeks ago, Roy Howell had a mighty big day against the Yankees in New York, driving in 9 runs. And as a result, before the ball game tonight, he was honored and given a plaque. The 0-1 pitch to him. Foul back. He reached out for one. No balls and 2 strikes. 330 feet down the line here at Exhibition Park. 375 to the alleys, and 400 feet to straightaway center field. No balls, 2 strikes on Roy Howell. Gullet stretches, checks Baylor off second. The pitch, inside and high, and Howell goes down. He was leaning, and the pitch was inside, shoulder high. A ball and 2 strikes. These teams meet again tomorrow afternoon. Starting at 2:15, Ron Guidry will pitch for the Yankees and Jerry Garvin for Toronto, both left-handers. Speaking of Ron Guidry, today is the 5th wedding anniversary of Ron and Bonnie Guidry. Have to wait a few days for the celebration now. 1-2 pitch coming. Foul back in the crowd below us. Count holds at a ball and 2 strikes. Here at Exhibition Park, the screen behind home plate is a perpendicular screen. Does not come back over the heads of the fans. Boy, Thurman Munson, exchanging baseballs as he walked out to the mound, really fired the ball back to the plate umpire, Al Clark. Thurman is out talking to Gullet. Well, the Yankees have announced that they are no longer accepting mail orders for tickets to the American League playoffs. However, box and reserve seat tickets will still go on sale tomorrow morning at Yankee Stadium beginning at 9 o'clock. Box seats are $18 a set. Reserve seats are $14 a set. 1-2 to Howell. Foul back and out of play again. Limit is 4 sets per person. Tickets will be on sale at Yankee Stadium starting at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. I hope Mike Rendine and all these ticket people get a good night's rest tonight. I'm sure there'll be a lot of folks there tomorrow. 1-2 pitch. Just outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Latest word from Cleveland. They have completed 7 innings, and Cleveland leads Baltimore 2-0 at the end of 7. 2-2, the count on Howell. Bob Baylor is at second base. Gullet comes set, and the pitch. Line drive, base hit into left field. Roy White is up with it, and they're sending Baylor home. The throw goes to second. Roy had a little trouble with the ball, and Baylor scores. It's now a 3-2 ball game. And Yogi Berra jumps out of the Yankee dugout and starts waving toward the bullpen. They'll get somebody warmed up. Well, Gullet had retired 15 in a row until Baylor doubled off the base of the wall in left field, and now Roy Howell has lined a base hit to left to drive in his 41st run of the year. And the batter now, the only man with a base hit coming into this inning, Otto Velez. He hit his 16th home run of the year, leading off the second inning. Fans are right in the ball game. Chambliss is holding on Howell. The pitch to Velez is fouled at the plate. Sparky Lyle and Dick Tidrow get up in the Yankee bullpen. Yep, that's the same bullpen that had the tarpaulin on when the Orioles forfeited a ball game here recently. Just inside the foul line down in right field, or just outside the foul line, between the foul line and the stand. The pitch, down low. Munson dug it out of the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Warming up for New York, the Rangers
Willie Randolph comes into the mound, picks up the rosin bag, talks to Gullet. Now the second baseman goes back. Randolph and Dent play Velez straight up the middle. They both crowded in toward second base. Right side of the infield is open. The outfield shades him around toward left. The pitch, swing, and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Velez. Doug Alt is on deck. The Yankees are leading 3-2. Gullett has the sign, starts the stretch. Checks Howell, and the pitch gets away from Munson. Thurman runs it down, but has no throw to second base. Howell went diving into the bag. A wild pitch is charged to Don Gullett, and the Blue Jays have the potential tying run at second with nobody out. Gullett's 5th wild pitch this year. The count is even up 2-2 on Velez. Howell leads away at second. 2-2 delivery. Strike 3 is called. Velez doesn't believe it. Velez was leaning back from a pitch he thought was inside. A called third strike, and Gullett has his 11th strikeout of the game. Earlier this year, on May 7th against the Oakland A's, Gullett struck out 10. He has now struck out 11 men tonight. And Doug Alt, the batter, he has struck out and flied to center. Gullett has struck out everybody in the Toronto batting order with the exception of Bob Baylor. Kidrow and Lyle stay loose in the bullpen. The first pitch, inside, a ball to Doug Alt. Alt is cut down somewhat on the hitch he has just before he swings the bat, but he hasn't cut it out altogether. Gullett stretches, checks back over the left shoulder, and the pitch. Foul back in the crowd. That was a wicked shot back in the fans. Just off to the right side of home plate. Gullett takes a bit of a breather. Still astride the rubber. Now he plants the left foot and looks into Munson for the sign. The stretch and the 1-1 deal. Fouled off his foot. Oh, that one hurt. Fouled it right down off his right foot. And Alt is limping around out in front of the plate. Fouled it straight down off his foot. Trainer Ken Carson is out there, along with manager Roy Hartsfield, to check on Doug Alt. Carson working on his foot, and Hartsfield standing by, giving a bit of sympathy. Well, looks like a new feud is developing in the American League. Roy Hartsfield and Earl Weaver exchanging a few words during the Blue Jays series down in Baltimore that ended last night. Alt says he's all right, and he'll step back in. The count on him, a ball and 2 strikes. A stretch by Gullett, and the pitch, foul, back over the screen. Kidrow and Lyle continue to throw in the Yankee bullpen. The Yankees are leading 3-2. Blue Jays have a runner at second, 1 out here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Gullett stretches. Checks Howell at second. The pitch, high to Alt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Steve Bowling is the on-deck hitter. Gullett is ready to work. 2-2 pitch. Bouncing ball toward the third baseman Nettles. He has it to throw to first in time. On the slow bouncer, Howell went to third as Nettles throws all out. 2 away, and the batter will be Steve Bowling. Billy Martin goes out to the mound now. Talking to Thurman Munson and Don Gullett. Ron Guidry for the Yankees tomorrow afternoon, a 2:15 ball game. And Jerry Garvin will pitch for the Toronto Blue Jays. Then on Sunday at 1:30, Ed Figueroa will wind up the road trip for the Yankees. And Jim Clancy will pitch for Toronto. Two outs, a runner at third, a full wind, the pitch, swing, and a miss by Bowling. Bowling has been called out on strikes and lined out to shortstop Bucky Dent. Gullett winds and offers. Ball is hit in the air to shallow right. Coming on for it, Reggie Jackson. He is there and makes the catch to retire the side. The Blue Jays get 1 run on 2 hits and leave a man. At the end of 7, it's the Yankees 3 and Toronto 2.
One final score in the major leagues at Chicago. Ed Art's 2-out, 2-run homer in the 8th inning broke up a scoreless game and led Pittsburgh to a 2-0 victory over the Cubs. Art's homer, his 7th, scored Al Oliver, who was safe on a fielder's choice, and came off loser Willie Hernandez. The runs were unearned as the result of third baseman Steve Olivares' error on Bill Robinson's grounder. Mike Kugro pitched the first 7 innings for Chicago and allowed 5 hits. That game was delayed 45 minutes in the top of the 7th because of rain. Winning pitcher Jim Rooker also went 7 innings, permitting 4 hits. The Cubs threatened in the 8th off reliever Kent DeColvey with 1 out. Ivan DeJesus singled, and Larry Bittner walked, but Grant Jackson came in to get Bill Buckner to fly out, and Rich Gossage came into that ball game and got pinch hitter Greg Gross to force Bittner, Gossage picking up his 25th save. Also scheduled but not played, Milwaukee at Minnesota, but that game was postponed because of rain, and the Cubs have not immediately indicated a makeup day. Chances are that game will never be made up because Minnesota's pretty much out of that race in the West. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure they've been eliminated, so the only time they'd make up that game between Milwaukee and Minnesota is if it had some kind of bearing somewhere on the pennant race. In case you haven't heard, a no-hitter by Bert Blyleven of the Texas Rangers as the Rangers shut out the California Angels 6-0 on Thursday.
Fan Appreciation Day is coming up next Saturday at Yankee Stadium. Every fan who comes out next Saturday to see the Yankees play the Detroit Tigers will get a free thermal mug with a picture of the 1977 Yankees on it. Appreciation Day next Saturday, October 1st at Yankee Stadium, the Yankees and the Tigers. Bucky Dent leads off the 8th, and he takes a pitch low for ball 1. Dent is 0 for 2. He's grounded out and struck out. Jefferson deals again, and Dent fouls it. Over the dugout roof on the third base side, back in the crowd. Jefferson's next pitch, high and tight, and Dent goes down. Bucky dropped quickly to get out of the way of it. Now he retrieves his batting helmet. The Yankees have 3 runs on 7 hits. The Blue Jays have 2 runs on 3 hits. Pitch hit high in the air to left field. Settling under it, the left fielder Bob Baylor, and he makes the catch. 1 out here on the top of the 8th. And the top of the batting order coming on for the Yankees, Mickey Rivers.
32,590.
The paid attendance tonight, 32,590. May have a little problem out on the mound now. Roy Howell, the third baseman, to come in, put his arm around the pitcher, Jesse Jefferson, and now Rick Cerrone goes out, and Roy Hartsfield is out of the dugout, wanting to check and see if anything is wrong. Hartsfield did not make a trip to the mound. He was out in front of the dugout, and Jefferson gave him an affirmative nod at the head as if to say, I'm all right. Left-hander Mike Willis is warming up down in the Toronto bullpen. First pitch to Mickey Rivers. Fast and low for a ball. This one is popped up, foul up the first base side. A play for Doug Alt. And he comes all the way down, almost to the home plate area to make the catch. So the first baseman Alt retires Rivers on the high foul. 2 away, and Roy White is the batter. Tom Murphy, a right-hander, is also throwing in the Toronto bullpen. And let's see what is new on the scoreboard. Boston 5, Detroit nothing at the end of 4. White is 1 for 3. Fouls a pitch back in the stand. In New York, the Cardinals lead the Mets 3-2 in the 4th inning. Up high to Roy, 1-1. At the end of 7.5, Cleveland 2 and Baltimore nothing. That's at the end of 7.5. 1-1 pitch. Popped up foul off the third base side. That'll be back in the stands. Another National League score. The Phillies 3 and Montreal nothing at the end of 5. The Dodgers 1, Houston 1 at the end of 1.5. Dodgers, of course, have clinched their division. 1-2 pitch, hit on the ground to the left side, scooped up by the third baseman Howell. His throw is in time, and the Yankees are retired in order in the top of the 8th. At the end of 7.5, it's New York 3 and Toronto 2.
George Foster of Cincinnati continues to lead the major leagues in home runs with 49. Jeff Burroughs of Atlanta has 40. Lazinski and Schmidt of Philadelphia next in the National League with 36. Rice of Boston leads the American League in home runs with 38. Bonds of California with 36. Nettles of New York with 35. The RBI leaders, Foster of Cincinnati with 142. Lazinski of Philadelphia next in the National League with 122. Larry Heisel of Minnesota, the top American League RBI man with 113. Bobby Bonds of California next with 111. Frank Tavares of Pittsburgh, the National League stolen base leader with 66. Cesar Cedeno of Houston is next with 55. The American League stolen base leader, Freddie Patek of Kansas City with 50. Bobby Bonds of California is next with 39. As far as pitching is concerned, Steve Carlson of Philadelphia with the most victories of anybody in the major leagues. He's 22-9. Rick Russell of Chicago is 20-8. Those are the only 20-game winners in the major leagues. In the American League, the leading pitcher from the standpoint of victories, Nolan Ryan of California at 19-15. The strikeout leaders, Nico of Atlanta leading the National League with 252. J.R. Richard of Houston is next with 194. In the American League, Nolan Ryan of California, the leader there, and in the major leagues, Ryan has struck out 330 batters thus far in 1977. $32,590. The Yankees thus have drawn over $2 million on the road. First pitch to the right-hander, Cerrone. Low outside, ball 1. The Yankees are one of only 4 teams, this Yankee team, ever to draw over 2 million people on the road. Cerrone takes the strike, 1-1. The only other teams ever to draw over 2 million on the road are the Yankees, Dodgers, Giants, and the Cincinnati Reds, who just did it this year. And the Yankees will go over 2 million at home. Ball is hit in the air to left field. Roy White over toward the corner in fair territory. Now makes the catch, a step in foul territory. 1 away. Cerrone is 0 for 3. Struck out his first 2 times and now sends a foul fly ball to left that White catches. 1 out, and Dave McKay, the batter. The second baseman has struck out and fly to center. The Yankees are leading 3-2. Gullett's pitch, foul back in the crowd. Gullett with 11 strikeouts tonight. The most strikeouts by any Yankee pitcher since September 27th, 1975, when Catfish Hunter struck out 12 Baltimore Orioles. 1 strike pitch is hit deep to left. This could die it. It's a new ball game. Home run into the left field stand for Dave McKay, his 3rd home run of the year.
So it's a brand new ball game as the Blue Jays have battled back to tie it up 3-3. Will bat for Tim Northbrook. Doug Rader will bat for Northbrook as the Blue Jays have tied the ball game on a home run by Dave McKay. Rader is a right-hand batter. He's hitting .239 with 13 home runs and 40 runs batted in. Close step, and the pitch to him. High, ball one. Activity will start again in the Yankee bullpen. Blue Jays have only 4 hits, but they've really made them count. A strike call, letter high. A home run by Velez in the second. Then a double by Baylor and a single by Howell to drive in the run in the seventh. And here a one-out home run by Dave McKay to tie it. Swing and a miss by Rader. Ball and 2 strikes. Tidrow and Lyle are up again in the Yankee bullpen. They both warmed up in the 7th inning. Gullett winds and deals. Strike 3 is called. Rader is caught looking. Turns around to argue with plate umpire Al Clark. Doug Rader is called out on strikes, and Gullett has his 12th strikeout. Down, and the batter will be Gary Woods, the center fielder. Woods has fouled out to Chandler, struck out, and lined out to center field. Rader sends the bat and the helmet flying. He goes back toward the dugout. Woods, a right-hand batter. Gullett's pitch, ball outside. Gullett has not walked anybody in the ball game. He has committed a wild pitch. He has struck out 12. 1-0 deal, swing and a miss. Gullett winds and offers. Low. Nettles at third, guarding the line behind the bag. Then shades over in the hole. Willie Randolph shades towards second. The outfield is spread out. Roy White very deep in left field. And the 2-1 pitch. Strike 2 called. We're tied 3-3 here in Toronto. And got a 2-2 pitch. Foul back in the crowd. 32,590 here at Exhibition Park tonight. Lyle and Tidrow stay loose in the bullpen. There are 2 outs, nobody on. 2-2 pitch. Fouled again in the crowd, this time on the first base side. Gullett has a new baseball to work with. Two and two on Gary Woods. And the pitch coming. Taken for a ball high, 3-2. Pitch. Hit in the air to shallow right. Reggie Jackson is coming in. He's under it, and he makes the catch to retire the side. But the Blue Jays tie it up on the home run by Dave McKay at the end of 8. It's New York 3 and Toronto 3.
Bert Blyleven finally did it. The 26-year-old right-hander who had pitched 4 one-hitters during his 8-year career tossed his first no-hitter and the third of the Major League season on Thursday. Blyleven faced only 28. That's one more than the minimum, and pitching the Texas Rangers to a 6-0 victory over California. That was the first no-hitter ever pitched by a Rangers pitcher, and the third in the American League this season. Jim Colburn of the Kansas City Royals and Dennis Eckersley of the Cleveland Indians previously pitched no-hitters this year. The native of Holland struck out 7 and walked 1, allowing just 2 base runners. Ron Jackson, who reached on the shortstop Bert Campaneris' error leading off the third inning, and pinch hitter Carlos May. But Jackson had erased him on a double play to allow Blyleven to face only 28 batters. Blyleven, who hadn't pitched since September 6th because of a groin injury, was hit hard early in the game, and left fielder Dave May had to back up the walls up there to catch a long fly by Bobby Bonds, leading off the second. And the next batter, Don Baylor, lined out to second baseman Bump Wills, who had to make a diving leap toward the first base line. So, the third no-hitter in Major League Baseball of the 1977 season, 26-year-old right-hander Bert Blyleven of the Texas Rangers, coming up with a 6-0 victory over California, a no-hitter, as he faces only 28 batters, one more than the minimum in a 9-inning ball game. So quite a performance by Bert Blyleven.
We go to the 9th inning. Hector Torres comes out to play shortstop for Toronto. Manager Roy Hartsfield keeps Tom Murphy and Mike Willis loose in the bullpen down in left field, and Thurman Munson leads off for the Yankees. Thurman is 3 for 3, and he has scored 1 run. Yankees got 2 runs in the first inning. Rivers beat on an infield hit, went to third on Munson's single. Rivers scored. Munson went to third on a double by Jackson, and Chris Chambliss got the run in with a sacrifice fly. The Yankees' third run came in the third, and again it was scored by Mickey Rivers, who reached on a walk and scored on Roy White's double to center field. White was then out at third base. First pitch to Munson, high fastball. White was out trying to go to third on the throw home. Cerrone took the throw from Bowling, who backed up the play in center field and threw White out at third. Strike call, knee high, and the count is 1-1 on Munson. Jesse Jefferson on the mound for Toronto. He has walked 1 and struck out 3. Allowed the Yankees 7 hits. Right-hander's pitch. Bouncing ball to third. Charging Howell. He has it in foul territory. Throw to first. Would have been in time, but it's a foul ball. Ball called foul by plate umpire Al Clark. Munson was digging hard down the line. Howell got a good throw to first base, and had it been a fair ball, Munson would have been out. Thurman will take his time coming back to home plate. Munson started out tonight hitting .294. 3 base hits pushed his average up. .297, .298. Seven trying to get back over the 300 mark. His base hits tonight have been 2 of them to center field and 1 to left. We're tied 3-3 here on the top of the 9th inning. Jesse Jefferson has gone all the way for Toronto. Don Bennett has gone all the way for the Yankees. Jefferson pumps high and deals. Munson pops it up. It is shallow right. Coming in for it. Steve Bowling, the right fielder. He is under it and makes the catch. 1 away, and Reggie Jackson is the batter. Jackson drove in his 101st run of the year with his 37th double of the year in the first inning. In the third, he grounded into a 4th play, and in the 6th, he struck out. Swing and a miss by Reggie. Strike 1. Cleveland now leads Baltimore 3-0 at the end of 8 innings. Cleveland 3, Baltimore 0 at the end of 8. We are tied 3-3 here in Toronto. 0-1 pitch. Foul back just to our left. Chris Chambliss is on deck. Jackson has stepped away from home plate, blowing on his hands. It's a chilly night here in Toronto. And damp. This ballpark is located near the lakeshore area. Next pitch to Reggie. Swing and a miss, struck him out. Jackson strikes out for the second time. And Jefferson has his 4th strikeout. The last 5 innings and the first 2 men here in this inning, Jefferson has faced the minimum number of men. Pitch to Chambliss is low, ball one. Over those innings, he has given up 2 base hits, but both men were erased in double plays. He kicks and he deals, and Chambliss looks at a strike. It's 1-1. We're tied 3-3 in the top of the ninth. 2 outs and nobody on. Jefferson deals. Down low, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike to Chris. Two-one pitch, low outside. Boston 5 and Detroit nothing at the end of 5.5. Cleveland 3, Baltimore nothing at the end of 8. The pitch, low, Chambliss walks, and that is the second walk given up by Jefferson. It brings up Greg Nettles to his 1 for 3. Nettles single leading off the 4th inning and was erased when Lou Piniella grounded into a double play. Greg Nettles now has 1,998 career base hits. He needs 2 more for 1,200. Go to first. Chambliss is safe. Piniella is on deck. Jefferson's pitch, swung on and bounced foul over toward the Yankee dugout on the first baseline. Strike 1. Chambliss at first, 2 outs, score tied 3-3. Murphy and Willis stay loose in the Toronto bullpen. Willis a left-hander, Murphy a right-hander. Jefferson straightens up, and the pitch, curve is low. 1-1. One pitch. Fouled in the crowd on the third base side. A ball and 2 strikes on Greg Nettles. We'll do it again tomorrow afternoon, a 2:15 ball game. Ron Guidry and Jerry Garvin. Pre-game show will be on the air at 2 o'clock. Game broadcast at 2:10. The stretch by Jefferson, and the pitch. Drive to deep right center field, and this one will not be caught. It's gone. A home run for Greg Nettles. Line drive that just cleared the wall at the 375-foot mark, and the Yankees go out in front 5-3. Ball was just barely high enough to clear the wall. A Getty Goner for Greg, his 36th home run of the year, giving him 99 runs batted in, and giving the Yankees a 5-3 lead. Piniella swings and misses, strike 1. The Yankees lead 5-3 on Nettles' 36th home run of the year. Pitch is high and tight to Piniella. 1-1. That was not a typical Nettles home run. Normally, Gray gets that towering drive. But this one was hit on a line shot that cleared the 375 marker in right center field. The 1-1 delivery to Piniella. Bouncing ball to third. It'll be a foul ball. And played by Coach Dick Hauser. Greg Nettles' 1,999th Major League hit. Piniella lines one at center. That'll be a base hit. Played on one hop by the center fielder, Gary Woods. And Piniella has a base hit. The Yankees now have 9 hits in the ball game. And the batter, Willie Randolph. Randolph takes low and outside. Cerrone scrambled nicely to save a wild pitch. Randolph has flied the center line to the shortstop and grounded out to third. Fastball comes in low. Pinella's single is the only base hit now in the lower third of the Yankee batting order. Pinella leads away at first. The pitch from Jefferson, a slider over the outside corner. It's 2-1. Bucky Dent is on deck. Pinella walks off his lead. The pitch hit on the ground at third. Dug up by Howell. He fires to the second baseman, McKay, and they have Pinella forced to retire the side. But the Yankees scored 2 runs on 2 hits and leave a man at the end of 8 1/2. The score is New York 5 and Toronto 3.
Chicago Bears star defensive lineman Wally Chambers underwent what is termed successful minor knee surgery in Chicago. The surgeon, Dr. David Bachman, when asked if Chambers could play 1 week from Sunday, replied, "I hope so." Before the operation, Chicago coach Jack Pardee said there's a chance Chambers would be 100% healthy for the rest of the season. The surgery involves flushing particles from Chambers' right knee. A hospital spokesman said Chambers is in good condition and will remain in the hospital during the weekend. The French Tennis Federation has sidestepped a difficult ruling on a new double-strung miracle racket and appealed to the International Lawn Tennis Federation to decide whether it should be banned from competition. The miracle racket, which has twice as many strings in the center as the orthodox racket, is said by its users to give more topspin, more speed, and more lift to forehand shots. Okay, it's the bottom half of the 9th inning. Let's get back and see what happened.
Paul Blair's got out to play right field for the Yankees as we go to the bottom half of the ninth. And a little quick addition here shows the Yankees now on the road have drawn 2,022,824 with this crowd of 32,590 tonight. And the Yankees will go over the 2 million mark at home on their final homestand of the year. Thus, they'll become one of only 3 teams, the 66 Dodgers and the Cincinnati Reds of this year, to draw 2 million at home and on the road in the same year. Bob Baylor leads off the ninth. Got his pitch popped up on the left side. Bucky Dent into shallow left field. Under it, the shortstop is calling, and he makes the catch. 1 out. Roy Howell will step in. Otto Velez comes out on deck. Blue Jays scored a run in the second when Velez led off with a homer. Then Gullett struck out 6 men in a row and retired 15 straight until Baylor led off the 7th with a double to the left. Scored on Howell's base hit to left field. First pitch to Howell is lined to right, and it gets by Paul Blair. That's a base hit off the wall. The throw in towards second base. He dives. He's out at second. Bucky Dent tags Howell out as he tries to stretch it into a double. Paul Blair recovering the ball off the wall and firing a shot past Willie Randolph, the cutoff man, right to Bucky Dent at second base, and Howell is out at second. He'll get a single, and he's out 9-6, trying to stretch it into a double. Good throw by Paul Blair. That was a line shot. Skipped by Blair to his left as it hit off the AstroTurf. Blair took it off the wall and fired it back in to get the put out at second. Velez up, 2 out. Otto takes a low fastball. Velez homing in the second, his 16th home run of the year. Since then, he has struck out twice. Gullett winds, 1-0 pitch. Fouled in the crowd on the right side. Gullett has struck out 12 men tonight. He has not walked anybody. He has allowed 5 base hits, and the Yankees are leading 5-3. 1-1 to Velez. Swing and a miss. A ball and 2 strikes. Don Gullett is trying to wrap up his 13th win of the year. Maybe just 1 strike away from it. 1 pitch away. He has the sign from Munson and comes in high with a fastball. It's 2-2. With Baltimore batting in the 9th inning, Cleveland had a 3-0 lead over the Orioles. 2-2 pitch from Gullett. Hit deep to center field. Rivers going back as Rome makes the catch at the wall, and the ball game is over. A 400-foot drive off the bat of Otto Velez is caught by Mickey Rivers in dead straightaway center field. For the Blue Jays in the ninth inning, no runs, one base hit, no Yankee errors, and nobody left on base. It ended with a bang as Velez got a load of it. Drove Mickey Rivers all the way to the wall in center field, but Rivers made the catch, and the Yankees come up with a victory over the Blue Jays. I'll be back in a moment with the totals and the recap. The final score, the New York Yankees 5 and the Toronto Blue Jays 3.
Well, a big win for the New York Yankees. New York is now 94 wins and 59 losses. And, of course, Toronto well out of it. That's the 101st loss of the season for the Toronto Blue Jays. However, the Baltimore Orioles, at last word, losing its baseball game to Cleveland. Cleveland leading that game 3-0. It's in the ninth inning, and we'll see what we can get any additional score on that game. Boston is leading Detroit by the score of 5-0. So if those two scores hold, meaning if Cleveland beats Baltimore and Boston holds on to beat Detroit, well, then Baltimore will drop to 2.5 games behind New York, and Boston would remain 3 back. So Baltimore would remain in second place, but its margin over Boston would drop to just a half a game. So that remains to be seen. But that game between Boston and Detroit is in the 5th. Cleveland and Baltimore is in the 9th.
Here are the totals on the ball game, ladies and gentlemen. For the New York Yankees, 5 runs, 9 hits. They committed no errors and left 3 men on base. For the Toronto Blue Jays, 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors, and the Blue Jays left only 1 man on base. Don Gullett is the winning pitcher. His record is 13-4. Don has pitched his 7th complete game of the season. And the losing pitcher is Jesse Jefferson, whose record is now 9-17. Jefferson went all the way for the 8th time this year. The Yankees got 2 runs in the first inning, a single by Rivers, a single by Munson, a double by Jackson, and a sacrifice fly by Chris Chambliss. The Yankees added 1 more in the third. Rivers led off with a walk. Scored from first on Roy White's double to center field as Gary Woods tried to shoestring the ball. It got by him. Steve Bowling backed up the play, and White was out at third as Bowling threw home and then back. Cerrone threw back to third to get White. Blue Jays tied it up, scoring 3 single runs, a home run by Velez in the second, a double and a single, a double by Baylor and a single by Roy Howell in the 7th, a game-tying homer by Dave McKay in the 8th, but the Yankees scored 2 runs in the 9th inning, a 2-out walk to Chris Chambliss, and Greg Nettles, 36th home run of the year, won the ball game for the Yankees.